Are you trying hard to source and attract IT candidates? Do you struggle to understand the differences between sometimes really confusing IT roles? So for example, the difference between a data engineer and a data scientist, like what are some of the key technologies, the tools they use? Well, this is precisely what we are going to talk about during the upcoming seminar. It's already next Wednesday on March 4th in Budapest. So you are invited. I hope you will have a chance to join me. I'll deliver the training. We start at 9 a.m. So at 9 a.m. we gather around. At 9:30 we kick off the first module and we should finish by 5 p.m. So there are 5 modules. The first one focuses on the typical IT roles, the IT roles landscape. And for that, we are going to look at the mind map that actually covers all these areas. So starting with software developers, and then we will actually zoom in the second module, the second block of the training. So we will only focus on the traditional roles in software development. And I said traditional for a purpose because from my observation, and I've been training lots of recruiters in the last year, so from my observation, recruiters usually struggle to differentiate what is typical and what not. So if you also are not sure what is usually a database engineer actually doing at work, then you should join, because I'm going to explain what such a person does, what are some of the tools, and for example in this particular role why SQL knowledge matters and why some other technologies don't matter as much, or why PL SQL matters more. Okay, but these are details. I'm just highlighting the fact that you need to know what is a typical skill required, what is a must-have skill for the particular role. And why? Well, because often I see a job description with bullet points where is listed like really obvious stuff. So say you are a recruiter, and it would be really awkward if you would be recruiting another recruiter and you would just say like, hey, I'm looking for someone to join our team, someone who will be calling prospects, and someone who will be preparing contracts, and someone who will be sending emails. Like, this is obvious for a job of a recruiter, right? So you don't really need to mention it. And from my observation, recruiters usually struggle to understand what is typical, what is a must-have skill for that particular position. But for developers and for technical leaders like me, it's obvious. So I just skip the fluff and I focus on what matters. And as a result, developers are attracted to a position that I promote, because I only focus on what is relevant in that particular case. So this is what I would like you guys to also get used to figure out what is really essential. And in the second block, we are going to focus on the roles in software development, and then roles, for example, in the data and business intelligence space. So the difference between a data scientist and a data engineer, as I mentioned, the business analyst. And then, in the afternoon sections, we are going to focus on other roles. So, for example, I have it written here, analysis and architect. So what are the differences between, say, system analyst and a business analyst and a system architect? What tools do they use? What is, again, the difference between a role of a developer versus a role of an architect? So you know who to target, like how can you as a recruiter read between the lines in a CV. Okay, so these are the skills you will get immediately after you learn some of this stuff, and not even mentioning the importance of learning about some of the acronyms, right? Because it's really difficult to understand, to read the CV and understand what it means unless you understand some of the must-know terms. And that's also what we are going to go through. So we have, for example, these IT acronyms. This is again mind map of acronyms, and we just need to practice. So obviously these acronyms are also explained. So for example, what is SaaS, what is QA, peer, OS, right? Like all these acronyms, you just need to know them in the middle of the night. And for that, we also need to practice a little. So we are going to really make sure you understand these acronyms, because it usually starts with laying down proper foundation, and then the rest, just gets easier and easier. So you also need to gradually progress to the more advanced roles. For example, the role of a cloud specialist or DevOps engineer, which we are going to talk about in the module number 5, infrastructure, cloud, and DevOps. Okay, so this is how the blocks are set up at this point. And in the last module, we are going to look at some of the recruitment tactics, like how can you as a recruiter, as a sourcer, attract the IT candidates, how to focus on what really matters to them, how to communicate in a language that sort of naturally attracts them. And in the past, I've been a CTO. I was recruiting developers to join my team, and I always looked at it through their lenses, like how to present an opportunity so it's interesting for them. How can they be excited about this opportunity? And now I'm also recruiting for our clients, so this is precisely the angle I'm also applying in practice. So this is what we are going to talk about. It will be a day full of great insights, full of hands-on experience, full of hardcore, hard-skill technical knowledge, because that's what you as an IT recruiter need. So if you would like to level up, if you would like to be much better than the rest of the recruiters who don't know anything about IT, you should join at this meeting next Wednesday on March 4th. I hope to see you and your colleague there.